It's Elon Musk Twitter now, by the way.
Yeah. Elon Musk.
He got a board seat.
All of Twitter.
So funny. And the first day they go, he's going to have what is it called? A non-authoritative role. Like when he bought the percentage, there was like a clause like this. Basically, he doesn't have a say, a passive role or something like that. And then a day later it was like, he's on the board.
Yeah.
And of course you want him on the board. You want one of the most successful humans in history, especially in the tech sector, to be on the board of an app.
He's the best Twitter account.
Yeah.
So, of course, you want that guy representing your brand. And he's not as dangerous as like a Trump was, even though Trump's Twitter was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have the same radioactivity. It's controversial, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
That's the guy that should own the majority of Twitter.
Now, what do you think he's doing this for? What is the inspiration behind this?
I mean, I know what people are hoping that it is.
Yeah.
Like,
but what do you think it is?
Yeah, I don't know. I just trust that he's like a savvy business sort of like mover and that he knows what he's doing and kind of what he wants the outcome to be. But I mean, equity in some major platform in terms of like, you have all these billionaires that buy up like media companies. So like Bezos buys up Washington Post, like MSNBC, the MS is Microsoft. You know what I mean? Like, it's owned by all these media companies are owned by billionaires. So I'm assuming he's looking at this as like, oh, this is the new wave of media. So I'm going to try to buy in to the newest, to the new
good point. That would be really fucking smart.
So, were you going to say something else?
I think he wants Twitter on the Tesla interface in cars.
Interesting. For what reason?
Right now he has Spotify. There's a few that he doesn't have. And so I'm pretty sure they're blocking him from like including them in there because their interface is like you can't adjust it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like you can't buy apps.
You can't add apps and shit like that. Yeah.
And so what would be the advantage of having Twitter on?
Just makes it more cool.
And it's
like
that much
my
more.
cars come with Twitter.
As you have self-driving.
Hopefully you're self-driving.
I think.
Now, that's interesting. Him being able to like buy up or at least buy shares of these companies that he wants to incorporate in the Teslas. I think that's kind of fun.
That's interesting.
But to what Mark was saying, I think is quite interesting is that once you become a billionaire, you need a media apparatus to protect your wealth. And it's not even billionaire. Like back in the day, you just need, like Jeff Bezos needs something that's pumping out positive Bezos shit and crushing his enemies.
They pretty much all do it. Rupert Murdoch, everyone.
Every single one of them. So the media is really an arm of the powerful. And we've seen that in terms of powerful politicians, but we also have to look at it as in terms of like powerful businessmen. And in America, the businessmen and women, you could argue, have just as much influence in the government as the government, right? Or maybe they're in cahoots. A different discussion, who gives a fuck? We'll change it all when I'm president. No, but I like that him going, wow, the information landscape is not Washington Post. The information landscape is the apps themselves. So if I'm an owner of these apps, it's not that he can control truth, but what he can do is control the erasure of truth.
Okay.
So remember he was tweeting a lot about COVID early on, and he was like a little skeptical about COVID.
Right.
And he saw tweets getting taken down, people getting taken down for it. If they were going to stop the work at his factory and all this other shit, he can allow information that can combat a Washington Post article without getting wiped down. Right? Like there are certain people that control the narratives, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable on Twitter. Some of the not acceptable stuff works out potentially in his favor.
Right.
Now he can fight to make sure that's still there. So he might not be as deliberate as a Washington Post would be, which is like, why Jeff Bezos is the best man ever. But he can make sure an article that is shitting on Bezos gets just as much light as an article
It's also just a smart move. Like, why would you control the source of the information when you could just control the marketplace?
The marketplace.
Yeah.
Now, if he starts to have the same influence that a Bezos has on the Washington Post, where you start to see it really being skewed in Elon's favor, that's where things get dangerous.
That is kind of dangerous. But apparently this is their solution to just not having him buy the company outright. That's what somebody said. They were afraid because he's rich enough to just buy fucking Twitter. Whatever offer you want, he can make it. You know what I mean? $300 billion, that's fine. He can do that. So they were like, just give him the board seat. Let's just keep him happy. Let's give him 10%. And then this way he doesn't own the whole fucking thing. Because there's one human being on Earth rich enough to buy out Twitter outright, and it's him.
Wow, he
loves Twitter. I mean, Twitter
I'm also assuming that he sees this as like an arm of his brand in terms of like marketing.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't spend any money on marketing, and his Twitter is the marketing for SpaceX and Tesla.
Yep.
So he's like, at the very least, I will just have equity in my marketing.
Yeah, Tesla doesn't spend on traditional marketing dollars
because he's the
you have
Exactly.
now question. He's suggesting, I think Twitter's also working on an edit function for tweets. Did you see this?
Yeah. He had a poll, should Twitter allow an edit button?
And then apparently Twitter came out and said they were also working on it, or they have been maybe for a while. So maybe this is them talking
I
about
thought
it.
they had that already.
No.
No, but like, why is that advantageous?
So, I mean, I'm assuming their thing would be like, oh, you can correct misinformation.
Or like a fucking typo that kills a tweet.
But just delete.
Right, but if you have this tweet that goes super crazy viral, like you can correct it and you can edit things to make them more accurate. Like I'm sure that would be like the marketing spin that they would want this for.
So the problem with it is like, you get everybody to retweet something you say, then you edit it into saying
Foul shit.
yeah, that happens on Reddit. Like you can edit like Reddit comments. And so like some people just do that for fun. Like, yo, upvote this comment to make the post look crazy. And then it'll get crazy upvotes. And then they'll just change the comment to just be some wild shit. And then it's like, why did everyone upvote this? But it'll say edit at the top. So then you can kind of put the clues together.
got you. Okay, at least I'm just trying to understand like, what is the advantage of this edit button?
It's like taking down a YouTube video and then putting it back up. It's out of the algorithm.
Yeah.
That's how it hurts you. So if it's like, oh, it's just a fucking typo, I would love to correct this. I don't want this sitting there as it gets momentum. Then you can correct it.
Yeah. Because articles can edit themselves or not edit themselves, but like New York Times can put like an addendum to an article and be like, no, like this is actually a correction. And if Twitter is looking at themselves as a newspaper, it's like, oh, we should allow journalists, like every journalist in the world, that Twitter is their home base.
Now I'm understanding. I was thinking it was about like you said something foul and you're going to get canceled for it, but it's editing. It's the New York Times editing their headline that's on Twitter.
Right.
It's the New York Times.
That's what I'm assuming. I don't know.
COVID killed this many people. No. Now that you know it didn't, don't put out that new tweet that
no one's gonna see.
Nobody's going to see. You edit the one everybody saw. Correct your shit. And if you don't correct it, we're going to look at it as misinformation and we will take it down.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I'm assuming it is. I don't know. But like Twitter's biggest thing is like journalists and like academics and like people like having hot takes and like trying to combat misinformation and shit. That's like the biggest challenge.
I mean, one way to combat misinformation is be able to edit it.
Right.
I thought it was a cancel
You would
thing,
think.
but now that I know it's about like information,
Yeah. But I guess you could go back, like if you said some crazy shit back in the day,
yeah.
12 years old on Twitter, you can go back, just change the words a little
I
bit.
mean, you can also
delete
delete
it.
the tweets.
those
Yeah.
you can delete, but
Like Twitter should offer a function that allows you to delete a tweet. Like Twitter should just be like, how long would you like your tweets to exist here?
Yeah.
A year? Cool. 1 month? Cool. You want to delete it every single day? Cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that would make it so.
Giving up mad IP right now.
Yeah, I know. I wish Twitter had like a flag box. Like, hey, here's all the tweets that you should consider deleting. You know what I mean? Like, if it just had like a keyword search,
It's called your
like,
drafts.
but like, I wish there was just like a little thing that's like, oh yeah, you said this word back in the day. Like once we have Twitter for 50 years,
Yeah.
and like we're saying words now, like we're saying trans now, but what if trans is a slur in 50 years and you don't say trans anymore? I wish Twitter could like update and be like, hey, you have a bunch of tweets that say trans. Like, do you want to fix that?
Yeah.
And just like give you an alert.
Well, you can look up
Yeah, but you
by
can
the
look
word,
it up, but
they should do it for you. Is
What
what,
if
you're
they
saying.
had that? You could just have a little inbox. It's like, yeah, you were wild back
Flagged
in
tweets.
the day. Yeah.
That's a great.
Yeah.
Hey, these words are deemed sensitive now. They're not illegal on our platform, but people find them sensitive. You
Yeah.
said this back in the day. You might have been drunk and forgot.
Yeah,
Just wanna
because it
let
hurts
you know.
their brand that like they have one such a good search feature that everyone can look up anything, but it
Yeah.
also hurts them that I could put up something and then in 10 years it looks crazy and then people kill me.
I mean, low key, like, go.
Nah, I just kind of like seeing how people used to wild
Oh,
out.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, you kill
No, that's true. But low key, like,
But you don't like seeing how you used to wild out. That's a different thing. Yeah.
like I stopped using Twitter in terms of like feeding with content. I was like, the risk is too high. It doesn't help me do anything. It doesn't help my career. It doesn't sell tickets. It doesn't
Yeah, the
get
risk
people to the
is-
podcast. But it only hurts me if I say one thing wrong. So it's not worth it. So I stopped tweeting. That's bad for Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter wants or should want funny people.
Yeah,
But if funny people are scared, Charlamagne's not on fucking Twitter no more. He used to be hilarious on Twitter.
Yeah.
So maybe you've removed the funny people that say things that are dangerous for your platform, and maybe that's what you want. So maybe that's, I guess, a good thing. But I think the best platform is where the funniest people are on there. I mean, we made Twitter poppin' when everybody was wilding out on it.
Yeah.